In the late 1970s, when you talked about Pittsburgh, you talked about steel and the Steelers. And when you talked about Houston, you talked about oil and the Oilers. Houston had already lost one conference championship game to the Steelers the year before. And in January of 1980, those two cities met again, one win from the Super Bowl, one call from history. And this is how KHOU 11 preserved those moments before history decided what they meant. In Pittsburgh, confidence was everywhere, forged in steel, reinforced by championships.
When you talk about Houston, you talk about our fabulous football Oilers and, of course, our world-famous oil wells. And in Pittsburgh, you talk about the Steelers and, of course, the steel mills. This is the Edgar Thompson Works, owned by United States Steel. It's one of the largest and oldest of the 30 steel mills in Pittsburgh, built by Andrew Carnegie over 104 years ago. Some 3,000 people work in this plant, tucked away east of downtown Pittsburgh in a tiny village called Braddock. And everyone, and I mean everyone here, is a Steelers football fan. All you have to do is take a quick look around this big steel mill, and evidence of these workers' support for their favorite football team is easily found. Now, it's hard work keeping these giant furnaces going 24 hours a day, turning out 225 tons of steel every 42 minutes. But these fellows are never too busy to stop and talk a minute about their favorite football team and give us a prediction on who they think will win the Oilers-Steeler game Sunday.
I think the Steelers are going to win by about 3 points.
Oh, you think it's going to be a close game?
Close game. I predict a close game.
It'll be 2 touchdowns because Houston's not capable right now, and they got a lot of injuries.
So it's going to be a good game, but I think Pittsburgh's going to triumph.
By how much?
By a large margin. At least 2 touchdowns and a field goal.
John Skamonski is without a doubt the plant's top Steeler fan. Everything he wears has Steelers printed on it. And when he's not boasting or showing off his Steelers scrapbook, he's pumping Steelers spirit into every worker, playing the Steeler fight song across the loudspeakers in the plant. Indeed, Pittsburgh's #1 industry supports the Steelers. But they want folks back in Houston to know that next on their list of favorites, right behind the Steelers, they like Bum and the Boys. In Pittsburgh, Mike Snyder, News Center 11.
In Houston, belief wasn't quiet.
Houston Oilers! Houston Oilers! Houston Oilers #1!
This team had been here before, only to lose 34-5. And this time, the Oilers and their fans believed it would end differently.
Look out, football, here we come! Houston Oilers #1! Houston has the Oilers, the greatest football team. We take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. We're in the air, we're on the ground, always in control. And when you say the Oilers, you're talking Super Bowl, 'cause we're the Houston Oilers. Houston Oilers. Houston Oilers #1. Yes, we're the Houston Oilers. Houston Oilers. Houston Oilers #1.
The 1979 AFC Championship Game was physical and tense, and every possession mattered. The Steelers led, but the Oilers stayed close. And then, the moment. Dan Pastorini lofting a pass to Mike Renfro. Renfro caught it, got both feet down, or so it appeared. Officials said no touchdown, and no review, as it wasn't part of the NFL experience yet. At the time, the NFL had no instant replay, but this one, would become part of the case to change that. And years later, it would be cited as an example of why the league needed replay review, because one whistle had potentially altered a championship game.
I think it's important in any game, because any game during the season can cost you any play during the season, any game during the season can cost you a playoff bid or something like that. And I'm sure that there were a lot of plays last year, but that, I may get fined for it, but that was a bad call. We scored. We scored on that play. I know we scored.
No, I never have been for instant replay and never will.
So you feel if there are mistakes on the field, that it's just best to let it go the way they have been?
Well, I've been playing 31 years, and I'd like to see it finish the same way it started.
The Oilers lost again to Pittsburgh, their second straight season ending one step short. But the Renfro play lived on, not just in Houston either, but inside league meetings, rule books, and NFL history.
After the game, you seem a lot more frustrated or irritated about it now than you did after the game or coming back.
I saw it on the film. I've seen the film. I didn't at that time. I had to do what I've always done. I believe a policeman when he stops me. I believe in doing what's right. Well, the officials have always been right. I have to accept what they say. If I don't know better, I have to accept it. I didn't know better, so I had to accept it. I've seen the film, and I do not accept it now. They were wrong.
And how about Roselle? Did his comment yesterday also kind of irk you a little bit?
The only comment I'd have to have about him would be that if you're going to look at the film one time, look at them on all the plays. Don't take one play and judge it on that one play.
And also, you said in the locker room to me Sunday that in 31 years, you've never had instant replay. You'd like to see it finish that way. But if the league went ahead, let me put it this way, in league meetings, would you ask for it now?
I would say this in the league meeting. I will say, and I will recommend that if we're going to use it at all, that we use it on all plays or no plays. I don't want to have it just used when it's to someone's advantage to cover up for an official.
Dante Pastorini, do you still have nightmares about that game?
No, I've been hit too many times in the head, and I've had too many concussions. I forgot about all that stuff.
Mike Renfro, that catch that wasn't called a catch, does that still irk you today?
Evidently, we get to talk about it. Big week in Houston, in Pittsburgh, actually with the Texans. But yes, I get reminded of it regularly, Ron, and it's a thorn in the side of not only myself, my teammates, but a lot of the old fans of Houston.
A thorn in the side of Houston, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a shot there if we could have got the call. And as you remember from your younger days in TV, we had a shot to get the right call. Certainly with instant replay, they would have overturned it, but unfortunately, it didn't happen that day in Pittsburgh in 1980.
For the last 50 years, this day comes up every year, and people remind you of it. And they have a shot on Facebook all the time or all the social media, and it just kind of brings back bad memories.
It's clearly a touchdown.
Absolutely. It was such a pivotal play. It would have tied the score at the end of the third quarter. That means we got a quarter to play heads-up football with them. It's been an even game all day. Our defense was as good as their defense. As long as we didn't turn the ball over and give them an opportunity, I think we could have driven the ball and scored a touchdown or a field goal, but I really think we could have controlled the game after that. When you have to play back up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially the Steel Curtain, you forget it.
After you made that catch and the officials said it wasn't a touchdown, you're turning around and you're really emotional. What were you telling the officials?
I don't know that it was cold and we made a good catch. Wasn't 100% sure our feet were in bounds, but when I came up out of the snow, I'd made a living kind of being a possession receiver and catching the ball close to the sidelines with 2 feet in bounds way back before Houston Oilers days. And I felt pretty comfortable, but when I saw his face had frozen like he had seen a ghost, eyes popping out, I knew that we could be in trouble here. He was not making a call either way was what was ironic. And usually, even in those days, it's a pretty quick call. one way or the other. And he just froze. It was very close, as we all know. He wasn't sure. And I think I was just jumping and ranting and raving, probably saying not a whole lot of nothing but I scored. It was a touchdown, you know. And, of course, here came the Steeler, Joe Green and Ron Johnson, the cornerback that was covering me. They were all saying the opposite things, and a few pints of whiskey were flying out of the stadium by now.
So after the play, the fans in Pittsburgh were throwing liquor bottles?
I think there was everything being thrown, not where we were like ducking and scared for our lives, but I think there were definitely some pints of whiskey that several of the players had seen and maybe had been hit by, not only back at the bench, but over in the corner where my catch took place. Mm-hmm. They were throwing, I wouldn't say a lot of items, but dozens of items, and trying to make sure the referees knew which way they better make that call in the corner. So anyway, we had the 2-minute, conversation with the referees, and we all kind of pushed and shoved, and Bum was ranting and raving, and Wade Phillips was up in the press box, and he was getting ready to throw his rant when they did make the no call catch. Jim Tutty, the great referee, he was the head ref. He was not over in the corner. But anyway, the bottom line was we didn't get the call, and I think out of the safety of their lives, maybe the referees made the hometown call. And again, no access to instant replay during the broadcast, Ron, as you well know. Millions of Americans and certainly the Houston fans got to see the replay catch, and pretty clear it was in bounds.
What were you telling the officials at the time? We've got the video. Renfro turns around and he's begging and pleading. What are you telling the officials?
I just told, I don't know if it was Tunney or the guy who walked by, I just said, you missed that one. And he just kind of grumbled, but it doesn't do any good to argue with them because they've got their mind made up and you're not going to change their minds. You work your whole life, you dream of being in moments like that. And, it would have been a heroic play for the Houston Oilers and the city of Houston. It would have been such a dynamic play. As it was, we still had the people show out at the Astrodome and all the way from the airport down the highway. You couldn't find a parking space anywhere from the airport down to the Astrodome.
That was a fabulous welcome home at the Dome.
The Oilers came home without a trophy, but not without love. Houston didn't turn away. Houston embraced them.
In. A disappointing loss, but still a majestic and dramatic welcome like last year, huh?
Oh, I can't believe it. I really can't believe it.
I know that you guys have got to have hard feelings about that call today, and a lot of people here feel we should have won that game.
That's something else. That is something else.
Welcome back home.
Bum don't ever lose. Nope.
The man said, "Bum don't ever lose," and he's right.
When the Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Los Angeles Rams here in the Rose Bowl Sunday afternoon in Super Bowl 14, a lot of the so-called football experts expect the Steelers to have an easy time of it. But neither team is buying all that pregame propaganda.
Well, I think it's an advantage. I would feel more comfortable if we were having this press conference in the Hilton in Pittsburgh than in the Marriott in Newport Beach. I'd rather be playing the Super Bowl in Three Rivers Stadium than I would in the Rose Bowl.
I think it will. I think that's one advantage point that we have going into this game against Pittsburgh. They, on paper, are supposed to be better than we are, but we had a home field advantage, and we had a crowd behind us, and that should make a whole lot of difference in the game.
I really feel it'll make a difference in the game because the type of game the Super Bowl is, it's a pressure-packed game already, and the Pittsburgh Steelers fans, they're just great. So they should be able to match the 70,000 or so that will be in there for the Rams.
Well, I'm not real sure that it'll help us or hurt us. I think basically we've played better on the road this year than we have at home.
I don't think so. I think I told someone else from the press that I think that we're really the home team going into the game. We've been to the Super Bowl more than anybody else. We're most accustomed to the fanfare and the pressure from the coaches and the other players, and I feel really good about being in the warm weather. I know all our speed people are very happy to get on natural grass.
At the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, for News Center 11 Sports, I'm Dan Patrick.
The Steelers went on to win another Super Bowl, and the Oilers were left with questions.
Dan, first of all, let's clear up the article itself. It says you love Houston and you want out. Was that what you said?
No, I love Houston, but if the Oilers don't want me here, then I want out. I don't want to leave here. I've been here for 9 years. I've enjoyed my stay here. It's been a rough road, naturally, but no, I don't want out of here.
Is there any reason in your mind to make you think the Oilers do not want you here?
I've heard rumors to the fact that I've been on the trading blocks because evidently there's an economical problem. I've talked to Mr. Adams, or my agent has talked to Mr. Adams in regards to adjusting my contract so that I get more money up front instead of so much money deferred. But as far as a contract dispute, there's no contract dispute as far as I know, and hopefully it can be resolved so that I can stay. If they don't want to resolve it and they want to trade me, then I have no say over that. I don't know. I'm not a businessman. If my contract can be altered to where it would be satisfying to me and the Oilers, then fine. Everything would be great. But I'm not holding that as a primary factor. If they want to trade me, if they can build a team from a trade from me, then fine. I can go elsewhere and work.
I don't want
and get the money. Okay. So it's not a question of money.
Okay. Well, I don't want to misquote you. I just want to rearrange this.
We're on the air.
Okay. Well, I don't want to misedit you. I want to make sure that I understood this because I'm slightly confused. You said business is business. Does that mean that you would put business ahead of your desire to stay with the team and see the Oilers possibly through a Super Bowl if it came down to dollars and cents?
No.
That was the last game we played in as teammates. He was traded shortly after that for Kenny Stabler.
We could have won. We could have gone onto the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we could have, should have, would have, but it just wasn't meant to be.
And one play ruled out helped change Houston's football history forever. I'm Jason Bristol. Thanks for watching.